Hey guys, Dennis here. Today I want to talk about something really spooky that happened to my ex-girlfriend many years ago. By the way, let's call my ex Jane for this story. At the time, we had dated for about 6 months and had already moved in together. We were living in a house, a detached unit, and it was located in the suburbs. This one night, I had to go out to pick up a friend from the airport. My ex-girlfriend stayed home. I was out, so what happens next were the things that my ex had experienced and not the things I had seen or heard firsthand. So yeah, only a few minutes after I had gone out, Jane heard the front door open from our bedroom. That door had a distinctive sound about it. You hear a thud as you open it, then at the bottom, the draft guard drags on the floor and makes that scraping sound. Anyway, Jane thought that it was me. She thought that I must have forgotten something. The problem, however, is the fact that she couldn't hear any footsteps after the door had opened. Again, this is in the suburbs. It goes silent by 7 p.m. and you can hear a pin drop so long as you don't have the TV on. Jane got scared and pressed her ear against the door to listen in closer. Nothing was heard. At this point, she was scared but not scared enough to call the cops. So what she did was to call me, and of course I told her that I was on my way to the airport. I remember telling her to call the cops, but God knows what got into her. She just opened the bedroom door to check out the situation on her own. Fortunately, the front door was not open. Well, fortunately for me at the time, but Jane had mixed feelings about it. For one, it's good that no one had broken into our home, but on second thought, she swore that she heard the door open, but it was closed when she went out to check. Which is weird because, again, the sound of the door opening is very distinctive. And not to mention, it's just as noisy when it closes. But yeah, that experience prompted her to adopt a puppy. Jane grew up in the city and is used to her surroundings being busier and noisier. She said she was scared to be home alone at nights when I was out late, and that she wanted a puppy to keep her company. About a month thereafter, we had a puppy for about 3 weeks by then, and we had a good idea about his personality and behavior. That night, I was driving back home from, I believe, Philadelphia. It was a 2-hour ride, and I had the music playing at ear-bursting volume throughout the entire drive back home. But going back to Jane, she had taken a shower and was about to exit the bathroom when she heard the front door open. It scared the bejesus out of her since she had called me half an hour earlier and she knew that I wouldn't be home for another hour or longer. Then she heard our puppy bark at something from the living room, followed by the sound of a flower pot being dropped on the floor towards the entrance. Eerie because we did have a few flower pots on a wall shelf in the foyer. What scared her even more at this point was of course the puppy barking. It was clearly reacting to something. That puppy only barked at us during our playtime. For the 3 weeks that we had him, he never once barked at me when I would come home, so him barking at someone opening the front door meant it wasn't me. This time, there was no way that she was walking out the door to check the situation on her own. Luckily for her, she brought her phone with her into the bathroom. She called me first, but I had no clue I was receiving a call due to the extremely loud music. So Jane called the police next, and they arrived at our place in less than 10 minutes. The police were already inside the house when she stepped out of the bathroom. She wouldn't dare step outside without knowing what was out there. The police checked the entire house and told Jane that no one was inside. They also told her that the front door was closed when they arrived, but not locked as evidenced by them entering without Jane opening the door for them. As for the flower pots, they were all intact. None of them were dropped on the floor. The second experience was the straw that broke the camel's back. She wouldn't stay another night there as she went to her friends and stayed there until she could find a place of her own. I stayed back since I didn't want to break the lease, and so we went back to living separately and still dating. As for my own experience in that house, I must admit I didn't particularly enjoy living there either. It's not that I had something spooky happen to me there, but you see, Jane was not the type to get scared easily. That should be obvious, seeing as how the first time she heard the noise, she went out to check things on her own. There was also the matter of the door being unlocked when the police arrived at our place. Here's the thing. We had this janky and really annoying door alert system installed in that house. Basically, if you close the front door but not lock it, a speaker next to the door beeps really loudly 5 times to let you know that you haven't locked the door. In that house, it was next to impossible to forget to keep the front door locked. I was out of the house all day on that day, so I could not have been the last person to have left the door open as I left the house in the morning. Jane went out multiple times that day and she would have heard that annoying alert beep every time she'd come home. There was no way the front door could have been kept unlocked by Jane. For 5 months, I lived alone in that perhaps haunted home. I dealt with the spookiness by keeping the TV on or having songs playing in the background when I'd be home. So yeah, that's a confirmed real event that's happened to someone who was very close to me once upon a time. Next time, I'll tell you a story from the time that I worked as a bouncer back when I was much younger. It was a 3-month gig, but lots of things happened while working there. Some were downright creepy. Alright, this bit is only for the few of you who are curious of my whereabouts. I was busy with work, as I'm sure most of you are. I also spent the last 3 months going on road trips, playing lots of video games. Essentially, I'm on a short break at the moment. I feel reinvigorated, and that means more contents are coming. The channel currently as it stands, it is most likely dead, and ironically, that gives me the freedom to do whatever I want with it since there's little to no expectation for it. I'll post interesting stuff for you guys, and let's just have fun. Alright, I hope you're all well and doing wonderful things with your life. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.